Welcome, everyone. We're about ready to get started. I'm Carrie Murphy. Thank you for joining us today. I just want to explain and remind that we are also streaming on the City of Omaha website and Cox Channel 18 on the City of Omaha Facebook page and on Mayor Stothert's Facebook page. So thanks for coming, and now I'm happy to introduce Mayor Stothert.
Thank you, Carrie. Good afternoon, everybody. Vice President Palermo, City Council members, guests that are with us today, and every citizen of Omaha. It is truly an honor as mayor to present my 8th State of the City address. This annual report card on the state of the city is quite different this year. We are taking important public health precautions with a small audience. Everyone is wearing a mask and seated at social distance, safe distance. Two of the most consequential challenges our community has ever faced occurred since I last reported the state of the city last year, and both will impact our future actions and decisions: the worldwide pandemic and the summer protests and riots that spread across our country. It is rare as a community to have such impactful, shared experiences that change the way we live, think, and respond. 1 year ago, on February 24th, 2020, Omaha did not have a single confirmed case of COVID-19, and that didn't happen until March. So much has changed in the 12 months since then. The virus has upended families, work, business, school, travel, every aspect of our lives. For those living alone, it is especially difficult, particularly for isolated senior citizens who are unable to look forward to the comfort of family visits. I have experienced a separation from my own mom. Of course, the biggest impact is on those who catch the virus and fight the illness. Through today, over 63,000 residents of Douglas County have tested positive for COVID, about 1 in every 9 people. And sadly, 653 residents have died in the past year due to COVID complications. I send my sincere sympathy to every family grieving the loss of a loved one. COVID reminds us that in times of need, communities pull together, help, and support each other. Examples of selfless care and generosity are found in every corner of our city, but no more clearly than in the healthcare professionals and medical institutions here in Omaha. Even though I'm a former critical care nurse, those of us that are not in the daily profession of saving lives find it hard to comprehend the work, the strain, and the sacrifice of our healthcare professionals endure. Their commitment is inspiring. They work long, tiring hours. They care and heal those who survive, and they comfort those that are experiencing loss. They do this day after day after day, all while working with patients carrying a deadly virus. To show appreciation, I invited nurses from the Visiting Nurse Association and the Douglas County Health Department to be here today on behalf of all healthcare workers to accept our deepest gratitude. From Douglas County Health Department, Justin Frederick and Carrie Kernan, and from the VNA, we have Chris Strapp, Cindy Ruma, Olivia O'Hara, Susie Hawk, Bridget Coneglia, and Carol Patrick, who is Vice President of Development and Communications. Would you all please stand? And to all of you, from everyone in Omaha, thank you for providing care and for caring. In the past year especially, I believe that there is no higher calling, so thank you. And let me also thank Douglas County Health Director, Dr. Adi Poor. She couldn't be with us today, but during a public health emergency, the city code delegates decision-making authority to the Douglas County Health Director. Dr. Poor continues to guide us through the pandemic, and I am very grateful for her expertise and her counsel. It is really hard to fight an enemy that you can't see. And yes, we've all been inconvenienced. We've come this far. We can't let up now. In Douglas County, the number of COVID hospitalizations and new cases are falling, and that is very encouraging. Most importantly, vaccines are being administered throughout our community. Through today, more than 114,000 doses have been administered in Douglas County. I encourage all Omaha citizens to get vaccinated. Widespread vaccination is the best way to significantly reduce the spread of COVID and return to good health and normal activity. In January, we presented our 2021 pandemic recovery strategy. It prioritizes the most critical actions for an even stronger, safer, and healthier community. We enacted and extended a mask ordinance, and I appreciate the City Council's work on this very important issue. The City of Omaha is distributing over $32 million in federal aid for rent and utility assistance, for small business support, food, COVID-19 testing, and services for those who are experiencing homelessness. As the sudden onset of COVID in nearly 2020 quickly and dramatically affected the employment of many in our city, we expanded funding for job training and work readiness programs. At its peak, the Omaha's unemployment rate was 10.2% last April. By the end of the year, the rate was back to 3.3%. And pending approval from the Library Board of Trustees, the Omaha Public Library will become a fines-free library. We want everyone to be able to use our resources of the public library, especially when some patrons are experiencing great financial losses. This spring, we will award grants to neighborhood associations to create or expand projects to aid in the city's pandemic recovery. Last year, I signed an executive order creating a COVID-19 Community Response Advisory Board. These dedicated partners are working with me, and they're working on the front lines of healthcare, food insecurity, workforce, education, and housing. The members will continue to help me to identify and recommend additional recovery needs, and I thank every one of them for their input. Our recovery reaches from government, business, and philanthropy to the streets in our neighborhoods, and it will take all of us working together. As we look ahead, we are introducing the City of Omaha app, the mobile app, or Mobile Omaha, a new app, Mobile Omaha. This will be an easy way to connect with all important city news, including our recovery, city services, the mayor's hotline, every department's social media accounts, and even the Douglas County Health Department vaccine appointment information. Mobile Omaha can be now downloaded from the Apple App Store and also from Google Play. You can also sign up for news alerts. 2020 has demonstrated the importance of strong financial planning. After a year of pandemic-related and unprecedented revenue losses and early projections of a $75 million city budget shortfall, we ended 2020 with a modest surplus. We estimate between $5 and $7 million. We accomplished this through careful budget management and very difficult spending reductions. And we successfully fought and received over $60 million in federal CARES Act funding from Douglas County and from the state of Nebraska. This prevented layoffs of police officers and firefighters, reopened our public libraries and community centers, and stabilized our city finances at a very critical time. Our finance department and every city employee worked extremely hard during a very rough year, and I want to thank every one of you. This has been a difficult year. The second significant event in our cities last year were the protests and the riots sparked by the horrific death of George Floyd. Protests occurred across the country, bringing focus to issues of police misconduct, racial equality, and bias. I honestly believe that we cannot talk about the state of the city without acknowledging the protest and what they meant for all of us. It is the absolute right of citizens to engage in public assembly, to protest, to be heard, to make demands, to seek justice, and to petition for answers. Addressing grievances in the public square is one of the rights that our military service members have fought and died for many generations. We must always protect the rights of citizens to be heard, to question those in positions of leadership and authority, and to hold them accountable. At times last summer, some left peaceful protest and turned to violence and destruction. Having a voice and violence are two different things. Injustice is never born of violence. Those who chose violence, broke laws, destroyed property, must be held accountable. And it became a frightening time in Omaha. I took an extraordinary emergency action and I ordered a curfew. One of the few times any mayor in the history of Omaha has exercised their authority to do so. Immediately, we publicly pledged to take actions to review and revise policies, require additional law enforcement training, solicit public input, and develop a strategic plan for diversity, equity, and inclusion throughout city government. We have improved training and accountability for our police officers. I hired a Deputy Chief of Staff for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Keith Station, who reports directly to me. I appointed 2 advisory boards, a community member advisory board and an employee board, to help us develop the strategic plan. We will require bias training for all city employees this year. Some, including the Omaha Fire Department, have already completed the first phase of this important training. Improvement and solutions will not come from government initiatives alone. Change must come from within each one of us. Omaha can be a city of example and hope, a community of conscience, and let's all do our part. During my term as mayor, public safety will always be my most important responsibility. This year, public health is a public safety priority, and our police and fire departments have been significantly impacted by COVID, yet committed to their responsibilities. I am proud to report that we have more highly trained police officers on the job than ever before. Chief Schmatter and I have met our goal and budgeted for over 100 more police officers in the last 8 years. That means more officers focused on our crime prevention, intervention, and enforcement strategy. We have seen a significant drop in homicides over the same 8 years. More crimes are being solved than ever before in the past. The Omaha Police Department's clearance rate is one of the best in the country. Police response times to 911 are better than we've seen in over a decade. And officer-involved shootings are the lowest on record. Omaha did experience a spike in homicides in 2020, something that occurred in many large cities across the country. I believe the full and safe re-engagement of all of our crime prevention and intervention activities post-COVID will help address this increase. I want to make a very good police department even better, so we have implemented these following new initiatives. The expansion of our mental health co-responder program, so more resources are directed at mental illness and its impact on illegal behavior. Advanced crisis intervention training for our officers. Provide the best equipment possible, including full deployment of body-worn cameras, so officers can do their job effectively and with greater transparency. Hire a more diverse police force and build stronger community officer relationships. Provide citizens an easier way to file complaints against officers, and produce an annual public report from the Citizen Complaint Review Board. I have received their report from 2020. It's available on my website and on the Omaha Police website. In April, more than 60 recruits will start training to become Omaha police officers. Given the challenging financial year we've had, we are fortunate to be able to proceed with the 2021 class. These recruits will join a police department that is certified by the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. So congratulations to OPD on your CALIA recertification. The Omaha Police Department, along with the Human Rights and Relations Department and the City Prosecutor, have developed a restorative justice program to allow for second chances. Those charged with certain misdemeanors and those who are eligible for the program can participate in community service and restorative justice classes. After successfully completing the program, and if they have no additional criminal arrest for 6 months, the charges will be dismissed. We will evaluate this program after a 6-month pilot. In a few months, we will begin to break ground on a new fire station at 34th and Q in South Omaha. And in April, we will reinstate a second medic unit, Medic 2, downtown. 10 years ago, a previous administration took Medic 2 and several other fire department rigs out of service. Chief Olson and I are proud that we have reinstated 3. The new fire station will replace Station 31 that is currently at 25th and L Street down in South Omaha. We are working with a community nonprofit on a new use for that historic building, the old fire station, that will greatly benefit South Omaha community. So stay tuned for that announcement. The new Station 31 and the return of Medic 2 will improve emergency service times and response times. In January, one of the most diverse fire recruit classes ever selected graduated from the academy with 31 new firefighters that are now completing their field training. Providing modern, safe, efficient city services at a cost that the taxpayers can afford is my responsibility. Last May, I took a significant step to improve our roads. I proposed the roadmap to better streets, a $200 million bond issue to pay for a long-term road maintenance and rehabilitation program, a long overdue solution to our deteriorating roads. Voters recognize that our infrastructure must match our city's potential, and they overwhelmingly approve the measure. The bond issue provides an additional $40 million a year for road rehabilitation, reconstruction, and rebuilt unimproved streets. We will be able now to double our road work each and every year that we have previously done. In 2020, we already completed nearly 200 lane miles of resurfacing and concrete replacement, more than in any year in recent history. And we did that in 2020. In 2021, we have 59 road projects scheduled directly due to the approval of the bond issue. Many of our early bids are coming in lower than anticipated, so we may be able to add even more road work this year. Now, this is in addition to our planned construction budgeted for and included in our capital improvement plan. So we're going to see a lot of road work in Omaha in the next several years. With the bond issue, voters also approved a tax levy increase. Through careful budget management, that increase will not be needed for at least 2 years, if at all. Also, new to our city is Orbit, the new bus rapid transit system that runs along Dodge Street, and I hope everybody has a chance to ride it. This is just the beginning of a high-quality transit system that serves all parts of our growing city. Few services are more important to citizens than trash collection. The new contract with FCC Environmental for curbside trash and recycling that I recommended and the City Council approved started November 30th of 2020. The task of converting 150,000 Omaha homes in the same week to an entirely new system was a big challenge. There's no doubt about that. We continue to improve our service, and soon we will announce the beginning of free unlimited yard waste collected curbside for 6 weeks this spring. Our contract includes this additional service twice a year, in the spring and in the fall. I want to share some very positive news also about recycling. In the first 2 months with the 96-gallon covered carts, our recycling has increased by 46%. That's really something in the first 2 months. And we have opened the next full-service recycling drop-off location at 120th and Maple. And I want to thank our friends at Mulhall's for providing this space for this important service. We are meeting our objective to expand recycling, and I am hoping that recycling participation will increase further in the future. Omaha's largest ongoing public works project is one that the public rarely sees. The Combined Sewer Overflow Project, or the CSO, is the federally mandated project to reduce the amount of combined sewage going into the Missouri River and the Papillion Creek. For over 10 years, we have been referring it to Omaha's $2 billion sewer project. Time and inflation have increased the cost of this project, and we continually are looking for savings while still achieving regulatory requirements. We have identified new technologies to reduce the cost for our taxpayers. One change alone, eliminating the underground tunnel and replacing it with new technology for water treatment and storage, will save this project and the citizens of Omaha $200 million. The state of the city is also defined by unprecedented construction growth, but the past year highlights the need for additional housing options. For many, the economic impact of COVID first affected their largest monthly expense, and that's housing. A strong real estate market makes rental properties more expensive to acquire and more expensive to rent. The city's role is to create an environment where the community partners and private sector developers can build more affordable housing, and we have several new tools to do that. A new micro-TIF policy broadens the requirements to be eligible for tax increment financing and will increase the availability of affordable housing. Our new transit-oriented development, or the TOD, policy encourages developers along with affordable housing, to include affordable housing. And we are evaluating building codes to identify efficiencies that would reduce construction cost without compromising safety. Affordable housing projects now underway in Omaha include Nobility Point, the Overlook, Davis Ridge, Kennedy Square, Canopy South, making hundreds of new units available. We also made a significant commitment to affordable housing when we enacted the city's rental registration and inspection program, designed to improve safety and livability for tenants. Despite economic pressure from the pandemic, the dollar value of all building permits issued in 2020 was nearly $1.1 billion, and it was higher than the previous year. That's impressive growth not found in many cities. Many large projects have moved from ideas and plans to demolition and construction. Notably, the Crossroads at 72nd and Dodge, Heartwood Preserve west of 144th and Dodge, Avenue 1 and Fountain Ridge at 192nd and Dodge. A shopping hub near 56th and Ames Avenue has been reimagined in an $18 million project featuring Ames Innovation Center. And in our urban core, expansion in the Blackstone District and on the campus of University of Nebraska Medical Center. The Mercantile, which is part of ConAgra's redevelopment on the riverfront. The Builders District, which includes Kiewit's new world headquarters, and Millworks Commons, the new home of Flywheel, both in North Downtown. These developments and our riverfront parks create vibrant, walkable, livable urban core, offering lifestyle and business amenities to attract residents and to attract talent. The parks, which has now been renamed the Riverfront, is 90 acres of city-owned property, including the Jean Leahy Mall, Heartland of America Park, and Lewis and Clark Landing, and it will begin to open just next year. And the Kiewit Luminarium, the $101 million privately funded STEM Learning Center, will open in 2023 on the Lewis and Clark Landing. These and many other incredible projects will improve our city. A healthy, successful urban core benefits all of Omaha. Another of our recovery priorities is to restore our tourism and hospitality industry. Last year, the overall hotel revenue was down 51% in Omaha. The number of meetings and events and attendees were down 80% due to the pandemic. Restaurant revenues, based on receipts from our restaurant tax, were off by about 1/4 than we budgeted for. Omaha must maintain existing events and contracts, and we also must compete for new conventions, for sport competitions, and events business. Competition for these opportunities, once we recover from the pandemic, will be intense. To be successful, we have committed an additional $3 million in 2021 for the Omaha Convention and Visitors Bureau. Fortunately, we are now seeing signs of recovery in this sector. We look forward to hosting the NCAA Women's Volleyball Tournament in April, the U.S. Olympic Swim Trials, and the College World Series this summer. The U.S. Senior Open Golf Championship will return in Omaha in July of this year. These events bring visitors and revenue and pride to our city, and they are all welcome signs of recovery. 2020 was one of the most notable in modern times. Our health, patience, confidence have been challenged. 2021 will be a year of recovery and rebuilding. It'll be a year of unity rather than division, of harmony rather than conflict, of love rather than hate, compromise, equity, understanding, and trust. It is an honor and privilege to serve as your mayor. Be safe, care for one another, and let's keep working together to build the best Omaha possible. Thank you all for being here. That's all I got.